Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for coming out for the rain here in the old city of Jerusalem. And for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. You know, Brandon, we've been doing our podcast for a little bit over a year now. And it seems like our typical demographic seems to be a 38-year-old male living in his parents' basement in North Miami Beach. Crazy. Now, how do we improve upon that? In fact, social media companies are having such a hard time engaging with older people. In fact, so much so that Facebook, you hear Facebook? They're thinking about changing their name. They're going to call themselves Facelift. Oh. And Instagram doesn't get left out, right? Instagram's thinking about calling themselves Instagram Pop. Now, of course, Meta, the conglomerate of these two companies, they don't have to do much. They're just going to call themselves Metamucil. Now, of course, TikTok, the largest of the social media companies, they're not going to change their name. They're going to change their logo to a pacemaker. So walking down here in Fuel City, Brandon, it's really old here, isn't it? It's so old that Blockbuster Video is still open in the Rova. It's so old that when the old city was being built, the Dead Sea just had a little cold. You know, this is awesome. I had a friend who, can you imagine living life like that? Everywhere you go, the drummer's like, I had a friend who wanted to work on old buildings. He loves construction. He wanted to work on old buildings. He said, come to Jerusalem. It's a great place to work. He comes here. He was unemployed for a while. You know, I have a lot of jokes about unemployed people. Unfortunately, none of them work. Anyway, so thank you. Did you guys, no seriously, did you hear about these two guys that got caught stealing a calendar on Jaffa Street? I hear they got 6 months each. No, so my friend got a job in Egypt. I said, be careful going to Egypt. I hear they have a lot of pyramid schemes. Of course, he gets hurt in the first day, and what happens? He has to go to the chiropractor. Oh! No, seriously. In the news today, it was really crazy. This woman is getting married at 92 years old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Wow. 92 years old. Can you believe this? And she's going to marry a funeral director. 92 years old, marrying a funeral. It seems crazy. So a local newspaper obviously was interested in this story, and they sent a reporter to meet her. And she told the reporter that in her 20s, she married a Wall Street investment banker. In her 30s, she married a producer on Broadway. And in her 40s, she married a priest. And now in her 90s, she's marrying a funeral director. The reporter asked her, why did you marry such a wide variety of men with different occupations? She says, I married 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go. Ho! We got a great show for you tonight. We got Rav Gav. And we have now Chaya Lester.
Yeah. Now, please welcome Rav Gav. I'm out here.
Right side.
We made it.
Okay, were you waiting?
Just a minute. We're getting a little nervous.
Wow. It is so cool to be here on our first live podcast. Rav Gav.
No problem. Hey. Sorry, you busy?
Yeah, you gotta talk to the band.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us on our
pleasure,
podcast.
Yeah, this is great.
Wow. How are you?
We get a check at the end. Like,
Did you get wet coming here?
Yeah.
We're worried about it.
It's pouring.
It's pouring right now?
Oh, Hashem. Jaffa. Yes, Shaitan.
Thank God.
Gashmis. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
Hey,
Am I
so
supposed to
you
be
enjoyed the live
focused?
episode, yeah.
I'm not
Say
used
hi
to-
to all your fans
Oh,
first
hey.
if you'd like, yeah.
So nice.
My
Don't
wife
forget to
can't
say hi to our
Yeah.
youngest fan in the front row
Yes.
You
here.
brought your baby. That's
Yeah.
really glad
You
it's
didn't know you wanted, did you?
Okay.
We're happy to have you, Rabbi. You know, we've been such an influence in many of our lives, especially myself.
Can I just say, now I understand. I've never seen television, Chas v'shalom. But when I did, now I understand. This is crazy, because
Yes.
you can't concentrate. When I was on the Steve Harvey show a couple years ago, That never happened. But if I were to be, it would be similar to this.
Well, this is your stepping stone to get on that show, right?
Okay.
Comedy.
Again, sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So comedy is such a big part of your life. You know, one of the things that people love watching about you is that, like, you're really funny. Like, I don't want to compare you to Robin Williams because he's dead now, but like, you're just as funny as he is.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
hopefully a little less. Yeah.
since we're establishing that you're so funny, I'm wondering if funny situations happen to you, or are usually just the source of them?
Happen at me.
Happen at you. Yeah. What are some of those stories?
The thing that comes to mind the most. So first, where do I look?
Both of us.
I ignore them.
We've
You
got
can
the
know look at
live
them.
audience on YouTube on the camera up there.
that's
We've got
YouTube
our live
there.
audience even better right here.
Hey Bradley, how you doing, Bradley? So there's an idea that people say, I feel bad. I'm turning my back to you. This is like very uncomfortable.
You can look here. It's okay. You're drunk.
So when I was it's going up, bro. How you doing? Yeah. So when I was, I tell people a lot of times, they say, how do you have stories? How do you have stories all the time? A lot of stories. And I said that, or I say, when people ask, I will now say that the answer is, everybody has stories. They're happening all the time. There's a lot of wacky tobacco going on all over the place. Different topic, but there's a lot of stories that happen all the time. Just do we open our eyes and pay attention to them, and do we use them to our advantage? Right, that's the question. So I was sitting on the train coming from Ben Gurion, the airport, to Yitzhak Navon. That's Yerushalayim. And as I'm sitting on the train, I can't even told you the story, remember? That's right. Yeah, that train.
That one, that's the
That's the train. So I was sitting on the train, and did you bring your guitar for me? Does it reach? You have a long thing? I don't really play, but I think it looks nice. So anyway, you have a pick? It's okay. No, it's all right. I brought my own. Anyway, you got to always have a pick.
Yeah, you definitely don't play.
Yeah. So thank you. Anyway, so I was on the train, and there was a guy who met me in the airport in New York. I think it was in New York, and he says to me, Rav Gav, online. He's like, Rav Gav. I was like, oh no. Because whenever I'm on planes, I feel like finally nobody's here. I can do whatever I want.
Relax.
Yeah, I'm on the plane.
I like that.
Whatever, Avera, Loba Shanayim. And I can do whatever I want, you know? And then I hear like, Rav Gav. I'm like, oh no, this is your conscience speaking. You know? And the guy says to me, yeah, you're being watched. You know, that's what he says. So when we get to Ben Gurion, we get to Tel Aviv, Habibi, when we get there, he says to me, can we talk about teaching and things like that? And so he says to me, he knows me, he's seen me teach before. I never met him before. He looks like a great guy. And he showed me some of his stuff. He does great stuff. Young guy, just starting out, whatever. And he said, how do you always have stories? As we're talking right in front of us, about this distance, the train's not that wide, but like, a little bit closer. There was a couple, there was a family there, I think. I'm judging, but I think it was a family. Father, a mother, and a daughter. I'm extremely judgmental. I apologize. It could be they're different, whatever, but they look like that. The mother is sitting in a wheelchair, and she has YouTube open. So he told me, I'm not sure what YouTube is, but he told me that YouTube was open. And there was this woman is singing like loud some Russian song. Like, anybody speak Russian? Oh, I was hoping the answer is no, and I could say whatever I want. But basically, she has this like, it's a background track, background track, and she's like, Sprasky Kongi. I just watch my language, I know, but you know what I said, right? And she's like belting it out, like babushka, lots of things in little things and littler, whatever. And I was sitting with the guy, and I'm like, this is a story. And by the way, la halacha, this is not kolisha. I'm just telling you right now. I don't know what that is, but it's not kolisha, And you want to take what you request a song? I'm open. What do you want to hear?
Freebird.
You have any other requests? How does Freebird? It's F?
Hey, get the audience to suggest a song.
I forgot how it goes. How does it go? Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, yes.
All right, wow, good
You know what
song.
song you've been playing it everywhere in my house? What is that song? It's like from the 90s or 80s. Tom's Diner, thank you.
It's great to have an audience.
Here's the reason to keep us playing, not me. But anyway, that's
Life's a story.
Life is a story.
Life is a story.
There's stories all over the place. Stories all over the place right in front of us. And we know the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, Ezu Chacham.
Who's wise?
Who's a wise person?
One who learns every single person.
Halomid Mikol Adam, someone who learns from every single person. So what does that mean? That means that we have stories that are happening all over the place. There are people that we're seeing all the time. And I was one time in a shul with my brother, and years ago, I want to say where, but it's Lashon Hara. And there we were, and there was some crazy fight going on in the back of the shul. It was an old man fight, like they were having schnapps on like a Tuesday, and they're like, no, this and that. They're going at each other. I don't know what was going on. So I said to my brother, he's older than me, so I said, that's not relevant, but I'm just telling you. So I said, like, what's going on here? Like, I thought the Mishnah says, Ezu Chacham Alomi B'Kol Adam. Who's a wise person? Someone learns from every person. How do I learn from this? How do I learn from this people? So what's the answer?
Don't argue.
Sometimes you learn what not to do.
Yes.
Sometimes you learn what to do. Sometimes you learn what not to do. But life is your classroom. It's a trait, by the way. That's what I was going to say. Life is your classroom. In which case, take advantage of the opportunities that are happening. So when things are happening around, I'm always taking note. Not even purposely, but when something good happens, I think that would be good in a class. That would be good.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, Hashem.
Good answer.
How about you? Now you're stuck. You have to say it. That's what you're gonna say.
We talked, I mentioned to you yesterday, I took my son to RBS to look at the yeshiva, and the rabbi mentioned to my son, oh, you have to meet Rabbi Bacon. Rabbi Bacon. I said, what? I said, is this a joke? He goes, no, it's spelled B-A-C-O-N. I go, does he go to the BLT yeshiva? Does he learn with like Rabbi Lettuce and Rabbi Tomato? Like, what is it? Did he get smicha from Rabbi Crab Cake and Rabbi, Cheeseburger?
It's all over the place. The Lamaisa, I've never met Rabbi Bacon.
Right.
I've actually never even seen Bacon. The truth is, other than every commercial that I don't watch. That's a shumpet when I watch that they used to.
They told you that.
Yeah. I told myself. No, because I don't have TV. I use my wife's. But whatever. It's all the experiences. Everything's right in front of you. Rabbi Bacon, Rabbi Burger.
right.
Talk about this. You work together.
Right.
Are you here?
Oh, that's good.
Is he here?
He is, I don't see
He
him.
left now because I said that. Yeah. But anyway, that's that.
You should name his son Cheese.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So what are some of the coolest places that you've gotten to speak and some of your favorite audiences you've gotten to speak to?
That's a dangerous question.
Okay, we can reword it.
Yeah. What was the question again? Sorry.
What are some of the coolest, what are your favorite places that you've spoken?
I want to rephrase it. How
My
about
favorite place was Jaws. And after that was some of the coolest. I'm not sure how to define cool.
Or how about one of the most unique experiences that you didn't expect? Going to a situation and speaking in front of a community or somewhere, and like next thing you know, everyone's wearing bathing suits or bikinis. Like this wasn't supposed to be the plan. Like something unusual happened.
Are you telling us the story that happened? What happened?
No, I didn't. I speak at bikini
Do you know
convention.
about this bathing suit thing? What we call it? I told you, Sean Bice, not in front of everyone. We don't. What's it like? Unexpected. Oh, well, I was in. You speak Spanish? Central America.
Try it.
Panama.
I was in Panama, and I just given a class. And
Big
then
community there.
Big community.
Big, lots of restaurants I've heard.
My mom is from Panama.
See?
She was born
Really?
there. Yeah.
Anyway, so I was in Panama. This is not long ago. This is recently. This is this year, September, August. Tuesday. This was by Rabbi Bacon this past week in BLT. Anyway, so I was in Panama. See, and when I was there, I just gave a shir, and afterwards, what else am I going to do? I took a private jet boat. What are they called? Speedboat? The speedboat out on the Indian Ocean. It's not there, by the way, the Indian Ocean. But,
No, nowhere nearby.
Yeah, yes, we're.
Anyway, so I went out on some boat. This guy, he says, do you want to go on a private jet, one of those things? So I said, of course not. Why would I want such gashmias, And
How much is
when are we going? Like, how? So we went. We went out, I think it's the Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Panama, so it's both.
Both. Pacific Atlantic, yeah.
Right, we weren't by the canal, but anyway. I made that sound as if you should know that. It's Panama, it's both. That's the Panama Canal, it's where they meet. Anyway, we're on this boat, and the guy says to me, he's like, hey, it's Mexico. But anyway, he says to me, hey, you want to ice? I said, pardon? He said, do you want to do ice? I said, I'll do ice. I have no idea what that meant. He's like, did you ever do ice?
You think it's an icy?
I had no idea what he meant. He was like, what does it mean?
It's probably some sort of drug, but I'm thinking like it's icy, like it's strawberry icy.
Slow down there. First bathing suits are drugs. What's next? It's with you. This is crazy. You know it's being recorded. All right, coach. Okay, so anyway. So there I was, and the cartel came. Oh, wrong stuff. Anyway, so Mexico again. I apologize. Anyway, so there I was, and the guy says, "You want ice?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go with ice." You know, I'm like, I'm in Panama. There's no ice in Panama. So he says, "Yeah, let's go." So we went to back to the shore, and you know, there's a small house there. It's like 40,000 meters. And I said, "So what does this mean exactly?" And he takes out this kiddie pool. But a kiddie pool that you could fit like 3 grown men in. A blow up thing. You know, blow up like, not like a huge pool, blow up pool. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why do you know what I'm talking about? You were there? Yes, that's what it's like that. And he calls the guy in the house, he calls his servant, the guy who works for him. And he says, rápido, 32, ¿cómo se dice, bags? See, like an American. That didn't sound good. Anyway, 32 bolsas de hielo. He says 32 bags of ice.
Oh,
and he fills up this kiddie pool with 32 bags of ice and fills it with water. I'm like, so what do we do now? He's like, now we go in. I was like, do we do this together? Like, what exactly? I was like, buy me a drink? Like, I don't know what's happening here. So I was like, okay, let's do this. You know, I see like people do this like ice thing of a Jake. The guy just like, okay, lo primero. He says, okay, first, you want to breathe. Muy rápido. Muy rápido, mucho rápido. Muy rápido. Says you want to breathe very fast. I'm like, he's like, what, you stupid American? I said, fast, you know? He's like, he says, you want to start hyperventilating. I was like, why would I want to do that? He says, because you want to go in the hielo. You want to go in the ice. I was like, first of all, I don't want to go in the ice. So, he's like, you said you want to go in the ice. I'm like, okay, I want to go in the ice. Let's do it. And he was like, and then he just goes in, he lies down, full on, just lies down the ice. He's like, buenísimo. Perfecto. So I was like, okay, this guy is not going to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just went in like nothing. I'm a hombre. I could do this. I went in, I just went in. I lied down, and I stood up. And I got right. I was in there for maybe 6 seconds. It was crazy. But I was like, I'm going to do this. Passed out. Ambulance came. Anyway, different story. But anyway, so I went in again, and I made it to like 2.5 minutes.
That's really good.
This guy every day, every morning, 15 minutos, todo día, en la mañana, he goes into hielo every day for 15 minutes. That's his morning routine.
So he's doing Wim Hof.
Morning routine. So that was a little bit interesting.
That's his mikvah.
I think what?
That's his mikvah.
That's his mikvah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's say. That's his mikvah.
Oh, what was your lesson?
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
No, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Since then, I would say 9 out of 10 showers I take on only cold. Freezing.
Wow.
Ice cold.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What does it do for you?
It just gives nothing. Absolutely nothing. Speeds up my metabolism. I lose the weight.
You started on cold and you complete the shower on all the way cold? Or
Straight up cold from the beginning. Bam.
Boom. And then you
It wakes you up. It wakes you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it wakes you up.
Sometimes I take a hot shower at the end. I turn really cold, and then I'm awake.
Yeah. That's called speed, by the way, that
Right.
reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It goes with the
When you move fast, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, it must have health benefits. Otherwise, at least you have to believe it does. Because why
It's
else?
like a polar ice plunge. People go in the yeah. But they go in, they come out. They don't wait.
It's the Middle Eastern ice plunge. stopped working, right?
It did
It did
stop.
stop working.
It stopped working. Hello?
You got it back?
Hello? Yeah.
There we go.
We're back.
I move fast, it stops.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Panama, it sounds like you've been around the world. Where else have you gotten to go?
I was in New Jersey.
Wow, New Jersey.
Amazing.
I was in New Jersey.
That's a good one.
Talking about at least twice. Teaneck, what? Yeah, Fairlawn. I was in New York.
Where you're from?
I was in Washington,
Yeah.
D.C.
You've been in Florida, have you?
Florida. I was in Washington, D.C.
Stay at my house.
I was in your house.
I found out you're a really good piano player.
Oh, you also play the piano?
Do you remember what happened? I was in Coach's house. Coach is a ridiculous piano player. Did he play yet? Did he play for everyone?
Not really. I don't play anymore. I used to play a lot until my son was born. He was 1 year old. He was walking
Don't
around.
blame yourself.
No, I'm blaming my kids because I've tried to play. Did I try to play? I tried to play, and every time I sat down to play, my kids would come up and sit on my lap and start playing.
Right.
And I just gave up. I like.
That's what life is. And the lesson is give up. And that's what
No.
it's about. Thank you for coming. Have children and give up. That's what it is. Yeah. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. And good luck. All right, so anyway, Coach, did he really play? He played tonight? What did he play?
I didn't play.
What did you play?
We're talking about getting a keyboard again. I gave a
He's
talk.
so good. 1 second. So anyway, I'm in his house, and you weren't home. Nobody was home. I thought no one was home. And I am belting it out. I'm belting it out. I'm playing, and I'm just singing at the top of my lungs, and I finish. And then I hear like, it's you and your kids. They're like, oh, welcome. Thank you for coming to my home. You know, that was, you're so good at piano.
That was pretty good for a while.
You're so good.
Pretty much had a piano in my house. I worked in my house. I played maybe 5, 6, 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
In my
amazing.
20s. Yeah.
You're so good.
And then I stopped.
Listen, the lesson is to give up. And
And then blame your kids.
yeah.
No,
gotta do it.
that's not their fault. I'm not blaming that. I could get it again and start playing. And I thought about it because when I spoke in Zikronyako about 3 months ago, he had a piano. And I was giving my talk, like your journey is your ending, one of my talks. And there's a piano there. And in the middle of my talk, I started playing. And it was a game changer. I mean, like playing an instrument when you're giving a talk,
Yeah.
just like, if you play guitar and give a talk, people love it. With the guitar.
Go on.
Yeah.
Can we have a duet?
No, I don't know.
Why we don't play the same
I
music?
haven't played 17 years.
That's a lie.
18 years, actually.
That's a lie.
Yeah,
He played at your house when I was there.
yeah.
What would happen if we did it? No?
You
I'd be
played.
embarrassed.
You
I'd be
played a
embarrassed.
song about Motzei Shabbos. That's what you played.
Yeah, I'd be embarrassed.
You played a song about Motzei Shabbos. You said like, it's 9 o'clock on Motzei
It's
Shabbos.
9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Get up there, man.
The crowd tumbles in.
Get up there.
The baby wants you.
The baby.
I'll play guitar with you if you play it.
No. Come on.
Forget about
I can't. I don't.
Go
play-
get him,
I don't remember
coach.
anything.
Get in there, coach.
I don't remember anything.
C, G, A minor, F. It's not that hard. What are
I
you
can do
talking
that, I
about?
can do that.
Right? C, G, A minor, F? What? You know what? You play guitar, I'll play piano.
Okay.
You'll do it?
Yeah, because I stink. I don't know how to play guitar.
You play guitar? Yeah? Coach, you gotta play.
I don't know.
Do I have a pedal here? Oh, sorry about that. I don't want to outdo you. I don't want to show you up. You're not embarrassed. You're not scared.
Wow.
Do you know how to play?
No.
So what are you doing?
I gotta play. You play.
Hit it.
Me?
Yeah, sing.
I don't.
It's Motzei Shabbos.
It's a Shabbos on a Saturday. Regular crowd stumbles in. We light up the smoke. You take a toke.
Smoke? What is with this guy? We gotta deal with this like addiction over here. You get the camera right on his face, you know? Just do the la la la.
La 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 la.
No, A.
La 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 la. I can
Hit it, Akiva.
sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for melody. Singing all night.
Shkoya. Very good. Very good. Great guitar playing. That was amazing. How did you do?
Great guitar.
Is it okay? Ooh, now it comes. Yeah, I was gonna say. So where are you from? We should do this every night. All right, coach. Get him back in the saddle. Yes. Woo. Get him back in. Back in.
Rhythm's not quite there, you know?
Okay, what else before I get out of here? I
Yeah,
have another
one
interview.
thing I want to mention that something happened when you stayed at my house that weekend. That Friday night,
Oh, you promised you wouldn't tell anyone this thing.
this is such a mistake.
Okay, go.
I like, you know, Rav Gav is
Pretend no one's
genius.
here.
But this situation, we learned Friday night, we come back from dinner, you have a talk, and we learned some Parsha. You told me like a very unique idea of Parsha. I remember it was Shabbos Gadol, right?
Yeah.
Sunday, I take him to Baltimore for a talk. And he's speaking up in Baltimore in Pikesville.
Who was that? Yeah.
All right. Doubletree Hotel. Doubletree Hotel. We first took him to
Doubletree.
We first took him to the
Rage.
shoe store, huh?
First I spoke to students, then I spoke to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, we had whatever. Yeah. So we he's in a room full of 350 people. They had to extend the room.
1,000 people.
It was crazy. 3,000 people.
It was like 5,000 people.
It was actually Baltimore Arena.
It was unbelievable. It's crazy. You turned people away.
So I couldn't find a seat because I was just hanging out. I was driving it.
You
right?
really were sitting on the floor, by the
I
way.
was sitting on the floor on the price.
Yeah, you were on the floor.
And there's room's packed full of people. And he's giving a talk, nothing to do about the Parsha. And he mentions the Parsha piece that we learned Friday night, looks at me, goes back to his talk, and continues. How'd you do that? How do you get in front of 350 people, remember something you talked about 3 nights earlier, find me in the audience, I'm sitting on the floor, I'm not like out, it's like 350 people. How'd you do that?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
I have no idea. I have no clue. I guess it fit. I have no idea. I don't know. Next question.
What is, we talked about this on our last show when we interviewed you, and I believe it was our first interview anytime we had a guest.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah,
first
you were our
guest we
first
had.
guest.
Yeah, great interview. As good as it could be for our first time. And now we have you here for our first interview on our live show. But my question that we talked about over there was how you have those 10,000 hours and how that is what makes you into the speaker you are today. And Coach just highlighted one of your abilities, one of your strengths, where you were able to identify him in a busy crowd, reference an old discussion you guys had. How do you do it? And if you could share just 3 tips for our audience about how they can try to be better speakers or better presenters, what would you teach them?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, the remembering the thing, whatever it is, I mean, I love the audience. You guys are great. But I don't really care about you. What I care about is having a good time. I like enjoying myself. So since I enjoy myself, I think other people enjoy it because I'm enjoying myself. Now, sometimes it's a little strange because I'll say a lot of private jokes that no one's in the room. In other words, it's just me and someone else is not here. But for me, it works. It's just it triggered something, so I say it. That's just like to answer your question. So I must have seen you there, and then I caught you. I'm like, okay, let me get to it, and then I got it, and I gave the look. Obviously, I knew you were there beforehand, and I have a sixth sense. I see dead people. But putting that aside, 3 tips. Okay, 3 tips. Number 1, I would say, is ridiculous. Like you said, the 10,000 hours. This is not really such a good tip. It's not a practical tip. It was just a reality. Just talk a lot. Take opportunities. If people give you opportunity to get up and speak, this is assuming you want to talk. If you don't want to be a talker, so don't do it. Yeah, but if a person wants to get involved in where they're speaking, they're talking, so do it as much as you can. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. If someone gives you an opportunity, take it. Take the opportunity. So I had the privilege of doing it here in Aish, which was tremendous for me. I think I told you on the podcast there also that the Essentials room, which is
there.
In this building.
There? It's right there.
Yeah.
The Essentials room, which is 1 floor up, was like my playground.
Yeah.
Right? So it was, I do feel bad for
We
this.
have a poker game there every week.
Yeah, Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Tonight. Anyway, but it was my playground for practicing new material. So unfortunately, the people who was my first class, they're a little bit off the derech now, but the point is that at least for me, I was able to develop material, right? So teach as much as you can. That's number 1. I don't mind taking the baby if you. There's a great market out there. Anyway, so this isn't being recorded, is it? Anyway, so
I really like that. So have a playground and.
Well, it's an opportunity to be able to talk.
Right.
That's number 1. The other one I would say is in terms of being able to give a material is to make sure that you know your material cold. You know what you're talking about. You're going to give a topic. The biggest fear that people say is public speaking, right? Public speaking, why it's such a fear is people are going to judge me. They're going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you know your material very well, then you'll be able to give it over in a way that you're not so nervous. The third one, which is part of the second one, is make sure, at least in the way that I say it, when people say to me, how do I do what you're doing? And I'm not saying I did this enough, but I say, just learn a lot of Torah. Make sure you know what you're talking about, right? So, because there's a lot of people out there that can know your material very well. I know my material well, but it's all fluff. So if you know a lot of fluff well, that's good. People will like it. People will.
Right.
But if you want to up your game and really whatever, so then make sure that not just you know your material, but you know the material which is emes, which is truth, which is valuable. So the person's studying and they're learning and they're learning and they're learning and they're learning, then you have enough to be able to give over. There is a story I shall now share with you about a rabbi by the name of Rabbi...
Bacon.
What's that?
Bacon.
You know the story? Anyway, so there's a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Bacon, and so that's one story. Now there's another story about a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Matisyahu Salomon. Rabbi Salomon is a great sage, lives now in Lakewood, New Jersey. I think he lives in Lakewood. He lives there? So he lives there, and he's Rosh Yeshiva there, so I imagine to say. So he's in Lakewood Yeshiva, and when he became the Rosh Yeshiva, he started teaching classes like crazy for the community, for the people, like for everyone. And he's teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching. Every night of the week and every day he's all over the place. And someone came over, he gave like a woman shiur, and a woman came over and says, Rabbi, when do you have time to prepare for all these classes? You're just teaching and teaching and teaching. Like, when do you have time? And he goes, what do you think I was doing the last 35 years? He was sitting and he was studying Torah. So he had the base of everything that he needed. So if someone needs a topic, it's all in the Torah. Fach ba, fach ba, dekula ba, ben bag. Oh. Mayor. I think there's a flat. Anyway, point is that if you turn it and you turn it, everything's in it. Everything's found in the Torah itself. So if you look enough, then you'll be able to find it. So numero uno, otra vez. The first one we said is?
Speak a lot.
What do we say? Speak a lot. Teach a lot. If you have the opportunity, take the opportunity. You get to speak at I was speaking already when I was in yeshiva. In other words, when I was a kid, when I was in elementary school, when I was in high school, I was talking a lot. I have the gift of the Gav.
Oh.
Anyway, you need one corny joke. You know what I'm saying? Give me a brunch. You know, come on. Brunch. No machine. Brunch. There we go. Anyway, point is that okay, so point is, that I was talking all the time. I had an opportunity, I took it. I didn't shy away from those opportunities. There were times when I did shy away from it. I was nervous, but then I rethought it. And you go out and give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? You'll die.
Yeah.
But besides that, not much. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be able to grow. So I think that was 3, right? Number 2 is to know your material well, and number 3 is learn lots of Torah. I'm not saying it in order. I'm just saying in the order that popped in bed. Learn lots of Torah. You're going to get it. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we let you go, we're running out of time. Will you offer our audience one key to clarity?
What?
One key to clarity for our audience.
Besides Torah? I don't understand. What are you talking about?
Could be Torah.
Give me Torah.
A key to clarity?
Our podcast is called Living in Clarity.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course I knew that. Oh. Well, being that's the podcast.
When you were on the show last, it was the
I
Christian
knew
Cook
that.
show.
A key to clarity. A key to clarity.
You can say no.
Well, that noise is what I feel. That one. You know, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. No. Teacher, don't come back. Listen, a key to clarity. I'm going to say you have to get clarity. You know what I'm saying? I think that's
Truth. I like to say it's truth.
Yeah.
I want the truth.
That's the same thing. You just define the word clarity. Clarity is truth. So you can't see the word in the definition, right? So how does a person have clarity? A person has to be willing to be vulnerable. This is big. I'm going to tell you something huge right now. It's very hard, at least for me, I don't know everybody here, but to be willing to be vulnerable, it doesn't have to be in a public setting, but be willing to be vulnerable and to deal with the tough questions. I know that one of the most important things for me personally, the Mishnah says, you got to get yourself a friend.
Yeah.
Very important, you have to have a friend. What's a friend? It's a whole shiur. Listen to it on the Key to Clarity podcast.
Living in Clarity podcast.
Living in Clarity with a key.
But you want a friend who's going to be your yes man, do you?
Who's going to be your?
Yes man. How do you look in the exchange? You look great. How do you look in this dress?
Right,
you look
right,
beautiful.
right. So that's not a
You
friend.
look ugly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. A real friend is the one who tells you your zipper is open,
Right.
and there's a piece of tissue stuck on the bottom of your shoe.
Right.
You understand? He doesn't tell you straight up, yo, bro, your fly's open. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to go with like, are you scared of heights? And they say no, and they say, well, your zipper is. And they say, yeah. Anyway, but that's I'll just point. Etzpa, right? So is that you need a good friend. A good friend. A good friend is someone who's going to tell you like it is, not to hurt you, but to help you. I have a very good friend, and without this friend, I wouldn't be able to get to places where I am today in terms of my own growth, where there were things that were uncomfortable that he pushed, and I said don't, and it is emotional. For me it was emotional. But being able to have those conversations, that gives the real clarity. Be able to open up to seeing all the sides. The reason why one wouldn't have clarity is because they're not willing to see the clarity because it could be painful.
Hurts.
Right? The truth hurts, they say. Truth hurts. Roy G. Biv. What is that? Did that hurt? But we say, and our next guest, the answer is it didn't hurt. I thought we said the truth hurts, and we just said the colors of the rainbow. That's the truth. Doesn't hurt. The answer is the truth hurts when you don't want it to be the truth. So when you don't want something to be the truth, like God and Torah and mitzvos and structure and order and commandments, when you don't want that to be, so then we shut it down, and then you're not going to have real clarity. You have to be willing to go through a painful experience to be able to get to the clarity. I think that was a good answer.
That's a great answer. You have to be willing to go through the painful experience to get to clarity.
That's a good clickbait right there.
Vulnerable. Being vulnerable. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's hard to say I'm sorry. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to cry. It's hard to cry.
Yeah. Not for me, but yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have to say I'm sorry because I'm never wrong, so it's not an issue for me.
I hear that. Yeah. It's true.
it has been such an honor to have you.
Get some music going on. Yeah.
Everybody, this is Rav
Gav. Hasta luego. Oh, very good. You show off. Okay. Shkoyach, guys.